Peru vs. USA is a relatively fresh fixture in international footballing history. The Peruvians have gone head-to-head with the USMNT only 7 times in their short history on the field, with the first matches taking place in June 1989. In the matchup, it's currently the US who holds the bragging rights in the fixture, having 3 wins to Peru's 2, with the remaining 2 matches both resulting in a draw. The US also hold the advantage in terms of goals scored across the fixtures, bagging 8 goals in 7 games against Peru, who are only slightly behind on 7 goals in the 7 games against the USA. In 3 of the 7 competitive games, again, it's the US who holds another advantage with 2 wins in the Marlboro Cup and the CONCACAF Gold Cup, compared to Peru's 1 win in the 1997 US Cup on the USA's home soil. In the remaining 4 international friendlies between the 2 nations, the record is even, with each country having a win apiece, with the only 2 draws between the nations coming in, reminding the 2 friendlies in 1993 and the most recent fixture in October 2018. While the USA currently hold the edge in the fixtures in all senses, it must be said that 6 of the 7 games between the USA and Peru have been on US soil, giving them a favorable home advantage in 85.7% of the total minutes played. With Peru only behind by 1 win, 1 goal, and 1 win in a competitive competition, they must be given tremendous credit for their endeavors. After all, they did win their only home game with a resounding 4-1 victory in 1996, which further signifies the importance of the home advantage in the sport of football. Peru vs. USA, the first ever fixture. The Marlboro Cup was an unusual soccer tournament in the sense that it hosted both international sides such as the US, Colombia, Peru, and Mexico, as well as international club sides from all around the globe such as Coca-Cola, Juventus, and Benfica. The tournament, which ran on an irregular basis between 1987 to 1990, was hosted in the US, where 12 competitions took place over the 3-year period. In this time, the USA featured in 9 of the 12 cup competitions, winning 2 of the 5 finals they reached, both in the summer of 1989. Incidentally, one of these cup wins came against Peru's national team, also known as the Incas, in Peru's only appearance in the competition in which they reached the final. The game was hosted in New York's East Rutherford Arena, where over 33,000 fans came to witness the spectacle. The USA took the lead and then when midfielder Brian Bliss fired them ahead in the 15th minute, a lead which was doubled only 2 minutes later by fellow midfielder Tab Ramos. The outcome of the game was placed beyond reasonable doubt just before halftime, when the USA's forward, Bruce Murray, slotted in on the 44th minute. The match ultimately resulted in a resounding 3-0 home win for the U.S. men's team over their Peruvian counterparts, which saw them lift the Marlboro Cup. This still remains the biggest and most convincing win for the USA in their footballing history against the Peruvian national team to this date. USA vs. Peru in Marlboro Cup. Vladimir Popovic's Incas took on the USMNT, or USA, at the Mission Viejo in California, where over the course of 90 minutes both teams canceled each other out in a game which ended up in a mundane 0-0 draw. A much better effort this time around from the Peruvians, who managed to shut out the U.S. on home ground. The game provided a stern test for Peru in preparation for the 1993 Copa America later that summer, a tournament in which Peru topped the group with 4 points following a 1-0 win over South American compatriots Chile, and drawing their remaining games 1-1 with Paraguay and 0-0 with a world-class Brazil team, which included superstar fullbacks Cafu and Roberto Carlos. Their success was unfortunately short-lived, as they got beaten by Mexico 4-2 in the following knockout round. Peru faced the USA for the first time In 1996, Peru took on the USA at home for the first and only time in the tie's history. The Incas at this time, led by manager Juan Carlos Olbita Saba, a former Peruvian international winger who played for the Rojiblancos in the 70s and 80s, coached Peru to their most convincing win over the USA in this fixture. The friendlies played at the National Lima Stadium in front of 10,000 attendees, started off by Peru's all-time highest-capped player, Roberto Palacios, putting the home team in front in the 33rd minute. However, the U.S. struck back 10 minutes later to level just before halftime through Dario Brose. The second half resulted in a Peruvian landslide victory with 3 goals from Percy Olivares, Paolo Maldonado, and former Newcastle United star winger Norberto Solano, all coming in a 15-minute window to seal a 4-1 landslide victory at home for the Rojiblancos. If you'd like to read the rest of this article, you can click the link in the description to see the full thing at peruvs.com. That's peruvs.com.